I am the Space Cadet. You are the Space Cases. And now that we've gotten that sorted, let's get straight to it. In this broadcast, the first in a series, I want to give you a look at the history of known space, because knowing where we all came from and how we got here will fill you with wonder at how we ever managed to make it this far. First, there were dinosaurs. No. First, there was war, and war never changes. Our tale begins with the Third Great War, because as they say, the third time's the charm. The Third Great War started on October 23rd and lasted less than the time it takes for a good shagging, including the dinner and drinks beforehand. Unlike a good shagging, it bollocksed up pretty much everything. Not to say it wasn't bad before the war. Many historians agree that the worst 5 minutes in human history were the 5 minutes right before the war. So the remnants of humanity decided to finally turn their energies towards a lasting peace and healing the planet. No, they decided to use the last of the stuff that wasn't wrecked to build some spaceships and bugger off. And so they set out to find a new home for humanity. And by humanity, I mean whoever happened to be handy when the great savior of our people, Admiral Joanna Reese, said, "Let's bounce." Space Cases, I give you part 1 in this historical series, Are We There Yet? Brought to you by the Protectorate with excerpts from the standard texts they use to tell you what they want you to know, with dashes of truth thrown in for color. Prelude. Following the Third Great War, Earth entered a near-apocalyptic state. Humanity looked to the stars for expansion and to ensure the continuance of the species. An expeditionary fleet was formed from the survivors to travel to the stars to find a new home for mankind. Wait, so we're all descended from a bunch of quitters? Shit. Standard year 0, negative. Standard year negative 1000 to negative 0. I'd love to tell you what the real date was, but some wanker reset the calendar so their mom and dad could be proud of the fact that they left their mark on civilization. Negative 1000. The Colonial Expeditionary Fleet, the CEF, is launched. Admiral Joanna Reese is charged with guiding the fleet to a new home. The fleet is comprised of 9 ships. A ruling council manages the governance of the fleet. An unspoken caste system of elites, trained professionals, and lower class of laborers begins to take form. And by take form, I mean the people who wanted it engineered the circumstances so that it happened. There wasn't anything organic about this segregation, Space Cases. Year negative 998. The fleet reaches the edge of their originating system. The first child is born on the fleet. Many generations will be born before the fleet colonizes its first world. Wait! 2 years out and the first child's just being born? What else was there to do up there but shag? Oh wait, I know. It took 2 years for the health insurance to kick in. So that it all makes sense now. The decision is made based on statistical analysis to split the fleet 3 ways. Destinations for all are finalized based on signs of life, planets' inhabitable zones. In truth, it was decided by some coin tosses. So to recap, we have 3 groups of 3 ships, or 9 ships. Negative 800. A cosmic storm causes massive damage to the first and second fleets. Damage to 2 ships caused the CEF to abandon them. The 2 fleets are consolidated, and plans to split the fleet along the original trajectories are rejected. Instead, the fleet limps along towards the original destination of the first fleet. Basically more coin tosses, but they used a new coin because they determined that the last coin, it may have been bad. So now we have 1 group of 3 ships and 1 group of 4 ships, or 7 ships. Negative 650. The CEF encounters the first Stygian gate in a dead system over 100 light years from the solar system. A number of experiments are conducted. Various theories begin to take shape, but the creators of these gates are absent. Not that we would have actually asked them for help if they had been there, and if we did ask, it would have been loudly and slowly, with a lot of hand waving and gesticulating. The CEF moves on after a month of study. A whole month. Well, that was a government-funded research study if I've ever heard of one. -10. The CEF encounters a second Stygian gate in another system. Unlike the last discovery, this system was still in the middle of collapse. This gate appeared to be activated. Numerous tests were conducted, while time allowed, but the stability of space was continuing to erode around the fleet. The Admiralty decided to take a chance and maneuver through the gate before being destroyed by the impending supernova of the system's white dwarf star. The risk seemingly paid off, as the fleet found itself in a distant but stable system. Luckily, we had studied the last one for a month, 640 years ago. And yes, this monumentous decision was once again left to the binary inertial alloy computer. The CEF pinpoints Lemuria, third planet from the star Hellion. Little known fact here, the planet and the star are named after Admiral Reese's two favorite punk rock bands. The planet had a diameter of approximately 25,000 kilometers, 10 large continents, completes an orbit once every 365 days, rotates on its axis once every 24 hours, and exists in the habitable zone. This place sounds weirdly familiar for some reason. Hellion is a star considered to be of average size, as all stars cataloged in the future are compared to it. Yellow in color, approximately 4.7 billion years old. This is opposed to fat stars and thin stars, which will later be corona-shamed until they nova or collapse to create a more beautiful and uniform stellar place. Over the next 10 years, the CEF travels, surveys, and eventually begins to offload passengers. But first, they painted over all the windows so no one could see the planet right over there in an effort to keep the unwashed masses in line. The remains of a civilization of giant humanoids are found on the surface. The ruins are dated to approximately standard year -10,000. Scientists among the fleet named the race Damazukai, which seems to have meant the people in the tongue of the past civilization. Or it was the name of a popular fast food eatery. Debates still ongoing on this. Year -0. -0? Is that right? The Provisional Colonial Government, or the PCG, is founded. It is comprised of military officers, a handful of intellectual elites, and civic leaders. Unknown to the founders, their family names will become a currency worth more than any precious metal in the known galaxy. 6 of the modern-day sovereign dynasties trace their heritage to this event. They are Reese, Nebzim, Zin, Bray, Singh, and Ethan. Because nothing expresses the greatness of humanity's struggle than being born with the right name. That brings us to the end of part 1 of Are We There Yet? I hope you learned something, and if not, it's probably your parents' fault for not having the right last name. Join us next time when we explore further into the mystery of our history. Until then, this is the Space Cadet broadcasting to you from somewhere in the black on XPNS, The Expanse. It's a cold galaxy out there, Space Cases, so stay warm and keep your zap gun handy. Until next time.